This is part two of BLA's interview with Akintunde Kayode. In this interview, we will be talking about social issues in the black community. Again, he has a more social or conservative view on these issues. And I feel it's important to really go in and look at these because he is not the only person in our community with these ideas. And we have to really look at them and understand them to be ready to address them. Now, in this interview, he also admits to being a flat earther. And some people have criticized me already for not going in harder on that. But I feel like if Newton and Galileo can't convince him, how am I going to? I think it's important, though, to really talk about his opinions in this interview because he's not the only one with the opinions. A lot of people have these opinions, and we have to really look at them deeply and understand them. So I'm going to let the interview play out, and at the end, I'll do some critiques and give you a little bit more information and framework to understand where he is coming from. Okay.
All right.
So I am Dave Hartful here with Black Leader Analysis, and I'm here interviewing Akintunde
Kayode.
Kayode. Okay.
Yes,
Cool. So we'll just jump right into it. What is your background? And you're a native DC guy, correct?
well, I was born in Nigeria. My mom is a native of the District of Columbia. Am I speaking loud enough?
Yeah, it looks like it's right.
Okay, yeah, my mom's native Washingtonian, and she met my dad in college, went over to Nigeria, had me, came back with me when I was very young. We went to Boston, lived there for some years, came to DC when I was about 6 years old. So,
Okay.
been here since then.
Cool. So what made you decide to become a blogger and a social critic?
I was a sports blogger. I had a sports blog called sportsnut.sportsblog.com. And, I talked about sports. That was my passion, talk about. But also, I just been talking about these things. My stepfather influenced me a lot. Like when I was coming up, I had to, being around my stepfather, I always had to question everything. He would question everything. He would never take anything at face value. So we'd be in cars and we'd be driving places and he'd be asking me about current events and he'd always question me and make me look at things deeper. And my mom too. My mom's a writer, so
Okay.
she's influenced me since from day one. She's written over 20 books.
Oh, really? What's her name?
Marita Golden.
Oh, okay. And what kind of books are they? Fictions or
Well, there's some nonfiction, but most are novels.
most are novels? That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That was her job when I was coming up. I seen her go from, typewriter, zing, zing, the old typewriter. I seen her go from that to, becoming, a very well-known writer, in her field. Everybody in her field knows her. She may not be like Terry McMillan or Alice Walker or anything, but she's known in her field.
Awesome. So I found your channel when I was looking up the recent killing of a 10-year-old girl in DC.
Right.
And I liked your analysis saying that. Go ahead and run down what you said so I don't put words in your mouth.
Well, I basically was responding to the ANC commissioner from that area. She was saying that they need more rec centers and more youth centers. And just from, my time in the, life, I've hung with I used to be a knucklehead. I ain't gonna lie. I used to be a little man.
Yeah.
So rec center ain't gonna do nothing, man. That's not the answer.
Yeah, so I liked it because you had a good understanding of the internals and externals. So an external community center doesn't work if the people in the community don't want the rec center or aren't pushing for the rec center.
See, the thing about a rec center is anyway, too, a rec center, they've already built rec centers. I've lived in neighborhoods where they built rec centers. Mm-hmm. Remember in the early 2000s, they started building all these modern rec centers in DC?
Yeah, exactly.
And so I've lived in several neighborhoods where they built rec centers. The kids from the neighborhood that the rec center is in, the little blocks it in, that's their territory. If you're a kid from a couple blocks either way, and you're not from there, you can't go to that rec center without having a problem.
Well, that's another thing. I question whether they really even care, or they're trying to give some kickbacks to the people that the construction contractors help to fund their campaign.
Yeah,
because that's a good way to get that to those guys.
I think a lot of things, people are trying to do things. I think there's that element. I think people are trying to do good things, but I think that they don't know. Like, listen, you saw the footage of those guys hop out of that car.
Yeah.
And you could just imagine. These aren't mass shooters that are just going out to do mass shootings. These are guys that are beefing with those guys in their neighborhood. This is not like some white kid going to school or some black kid going to the school and shooting up the school because he's mad. This is guys that are actually in a war with those guys around that neighborhood, and they still just shoot indiscriminately.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah, it was really sad what happened. I watched the video, and they don't have any leads still, even, which gets me on.
The lead you're not going to have. That's another thing. When you live in a community where these guys are protected, those guys are protected. Everybody knows who did that. Like, everybody who needs to know in that community knows who did that. This is not the first time. Like, these guys ain't just pop up. They just beam down from outer space and do that shooting. This is an ongoing, beef. You know what I'm saying? And these guys might be from around the corner. They might be from down the street. They might be from a couple blocks away. They might be from the other side of town. Who knows? But it's not like these guys just beamed down from Mars, did the shooting, and then went back up to Mars.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean,
and the community going to protect them because that's the no snitching code, and that's how that's. And listen, I can't. There's very little trust for the police, and we live in the black culture is a very anti-intellectual kind of like base kind of culture we have, like the hip hop culture and things like that. The criminals and the thugs are the alphas, are the top, the it guys in the community. So they have a certain stature in the community, reverence, social currency. That's another way of putting it. They got a lot of social currency, so people are going to protect them because they're the it guy. Whereas, like in another community, like say it was Chinese people or Jewish or community, the it guy would be like a different kind of person,
Yeah. So we talk a lot in our Spiral Dynamics about dominator hierarchies. And so, like, when people are in certain stages of ego development, they end up more prone to go into dominator hierarchies. And so those hierarchies are controlled by the people with the most physical aggression. And so, in that stage of development, it's natural to gravitate to those who are more physically aggressive. So,
there are social programs that can work. The only problem with it is that everything starts in the home.
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't matter like what social program you have when everything starts in the home.
Yeah, so I mean, yes, definitely working within the home and getting your own family rights really important. And that's an interesting thing that we're bringing up here. And I kind of like that we can do these social critiques like that, because I think it's important to look at it from many different sides. Like from what we do, we have I, we, and its-based solutions. So like we have things that happen internally with the community and then from the outside also. So what do you think is the difference between responsible social critique and then like really just banging on the people?
Yeah, because I mean you got to be sympathetic and compassionate, man, and you got to understand that you are where you're at because of a lot of other people. Like, the reason I'm able to even speak with this type of degree of clarity and collect my thoughts and speak probably is because of my parents.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If I had a different set of parents, it might have been different.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Having a different set of parents is really important. I get criticized a lot on my blog because I'll have different criticisms. And you describe it in your often as an anti-intellectual culture. And so, do you feel that this culture is really unique to black culture, or do you think it's really a manifestation of larger American culture? My pushback on that is that I see a lot of people just in mainstream media, if you bring forth data that's contrary to what they believe, they just dismiss it as fake news or Russian propaganda. So there is anti-intellectualism that's a problem in America, and it has a special manifestation within the black community. And then when you add on top of that being discriminated against in academia for so long, I mean, until 1970, they were saying black people were like inferior, incapable of learning in like universities, not like in some weird blog or weird book. That was like if you went to
I got you.
Yeah,
I completely understand. Just like homosexuality, like in 20 years, a gay guy's gonna be who's born today is gonna be 20. He's never gonna believe in 1990.
Yeah, people would have a problem with it.
Like so, I mean, of course, I mean, I can definitely understand that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important as social influencers that we make sure we get all the different pieces of the puzzle. So we have a piece of the puzzle where we've been discriminated against in academia for a long time. We have a piece of the puzzle where American just society is anti-intellectual. You know, like it's not just black people putting down the most
dumbest, ridiculous shit. The most dumbest, the ridiculous things I've seen on the internet. There's a faction on the internet like the hoax faction, but everything's a hoax. Like this interview was a hoax. I didn't really come here.
Yeah,
the government, you know, like everything's a hoax.
I'm really a reptilian or something.
Crisis actor, you're a crisis actor. I'm a crisis actor. Everybody's so yeah, and there's a lot of, but you gotta also understand too that there's also reasons for that. The KKK used to put out conspiracy videotapes back in before the internet age in the 80s and 90s because they wanted people to not trust the government.
Yeah, exactly.
They're very distrustful of the government, and those tapes were given in the hands of black folk. And black folk, you know, you hear some guy speaking with an English accent, all of a sudden it's true. The narrator speaking with a, you know, for some reason, whenever we hear we believe things when white people say.
Yeah.
We have our own, like, we can't blame everything on white people.
Another Jack. Yeah.
We can't blame everything on white people.
Yeah, I agree with that. You gotta, it's gotta be three, you gotta have your three solution paths. I always talk about the I-Space solution, which stuff you can do by yourself. We space, stuff you can do within your community. And then it space is stuff the government can help you with. So it's always going to be all three. It's never going to be just one thing. But I think that I think the biggest thing, because I see on YouTube a lot of guys doing good social critique, but they bleed over into banging on their people.
And they have to, because it's very frustrating dealing with black folk. Like you said, you have the anti-intellectual culture, which white people have, which we don't care about because they rule the world. So they can have a faction of their group
that's dumb
because they can drop a bomb in North Korea, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Russia any second. What black person can drop a bomb?
Nobody.
Anywhere.
I mean, I'm good doing get some guys on city council.
when we talk about white people have a section of their population that's dumb. Thank God. Because at least they're not all kicking our ass. But we, as where we're at, we can't afford it.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand that too. And that's why, you know, I found integral theory and why I'm trying to put it out there so much and get people educated on it for free. One thing about I don't like an integral is there's a large price point to learn it. So normally you have to pay about $600 to learn the theory in a class. And so, like, I wanted to democratize that to get it to where more people can get involved and understand it. I think it helps the integral community diversify, and it also helps us to learn these frameworks to where you can start compartmentalizing things and kind of see the larger framework of what's going on. So I think all that's really important.
I think, you know, a lot of the stuff I learned recently online, you can get audible.com. Get the great courses.
Yeah, and that's really cheap. That's like $10 a month or something.
You can download all the great courses. I learned about physics, biology, psychology, all those things on audible.com. You can go to TED Talks.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson on YouTube. That alone.
I'm not a big fan of Neil
Okay.
deGrasse. I'm a flat earther, so I mean, I don't believe none of that NASA stuff. I used to work at NASA, 300 East Street Southwest headquarters. Yeah, they ain't been in no outer space, man. That's all bullshit. But
Okay.
yeah,
So you're a flat earther?
yeah.
Okay. So how'd you come to the conclusion the Earth was flat?
Water,
Water. Okay. And why? What about water makes?
it finds its level.
It always finds its level because it's on a flat surface. Well, I mean, wouldn't gravity do the same thing though?
There's no such thing as gravity. Gravity's a theory.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
No, but it is a theory.
Okay.
If you look it up, it's a theory. It's not a fact.
Yeah, I mean it's
a theory.
Yeah, and they've had to change different aspects of the equation.
Right.
Over
It's
the
not
years.
gravity. Is not a gravity, and the reason things disappear in the distance is just perspective. You have a field of vision where you can't see no more.
Yeah, you're limited in your field of vision.
Yeah, you can't see forever.
Okay.
Like, and it makes it seem like the Earth is dropping off. No, the Earth's not dropping off. You just can't see forever.
So, how do you explain time zones then? So, like, if you watch a football game,
You have to know that the flat Earth map is not like your thing right there. The flat Earth map is a circle with this north with the North Pole in the middle. Antarctica is really just an ice ring.
around.
You live in a puddle created by the sun and the moon revolving. So all the continents are splayed out like this from the center. North Pole here, Antarctica around here, the continents in here. So it's like it's still a circle, but it's not a sphere.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
Well,
check out the AU model one time. I'll email you some stuff about the AU model. But it's very like I didn't just I worked for NASA. I worked at NASA in 1999 and 2000 as an intern. Was full fledged thinking that they went to the moon back then and all that stuff. Once I heard about the flat Earth theory a few years ago, it all started to make sense.
okay.
They not doing nothing over there. They ain't been in no moon.
Okay. Oh, you talk a lot on your channel about colorism. Can you explain to how you frame colorism and your
Well,
understanding
my
of it?
mother's written a bunch of books, and one of the books my mother wrote was "Don't Play in the Sun," because they used to tell kids don't play in the sun.
I heard that as a kid.
Yeah. So, listen, colorism exists. But the root of colorism is black people. The people that's going to talk about your skin tone in a disparaging way and try to make you feel bad about your skin tone is a black person. I've never seen a white person do that to any black person. And I've been all around. I went to boarding school in Pennsylvania. I went to some of the poor schools in D.C. With the Dirty Birdie Baptist. I'm talking about we had books. We barely had enough books. It was just a rough place. Went to Roots Activity Learning Center.
Okay.
And I've been to all different types of schools.
Yeah.
Only kids I see making people feel bad about their skin color are black kids.
Okay, so to push back on that, because we're living in a society chiefly dominated by white people, as you said yourself, in the world you see white people normally being held above black people generally, not disparaging because of skin tone, but just generally. So once you live in a world like that, on a macrocosm, when you go back to your microcosm, wouldn't it play out that way in your microcosm because you're in a more dominant society that's having an effect on your psyche?
No, because even before Africans had issues with white people, they're Arabs.
Yes.
So this is something that goes back even before white people.
Yeah.
You have the Arabs invaded Africa with the sword and brought Islam, and they were lighter people.
Yeah, that was allowed 1100. Yeah.
No, that was way before 1100.
Oh.
Way before. They've been dominating Africa for eons, for 20,000 years. It's just a forgotten part of history. Um, so you had you had that issue with them. But as far as in the United States, you have with colorism, like for instance, like the young lady, the two young ladies, two waitresses that keep on, one's dark skin, one light skin. The light skin one, she's cute, but if she wasn't cute, she would still be considered cute. And the dark skin one, who's very cute, nobody ever tell her she's cute.
Yeah.
That's a personal decision that the person is making.
Yeah.
That's not nothing that no, like, for instance, with me, like, we give white people too much credit. A white person is not making you do that. You're doing that.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
And then you have other parts of black culture. Oh, we can dance, right? But white people can't dance, right? Our dances are the best, right? How come we don't How come we ain't doing the waltz? How come we not walking around waltzing and
foxtrot, whatnot?
Foxtrotting.
Yeah.
Why is it only color? Why is it the other parts of our culture that white people are better?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that because it's
now labels. Now fashion labels, we like that with the fashion labels. Like if it got a white name on it, we want to wear it. But there's other parts of our culture where we like, nah, we like our shit. Fuck that white people shit. Their shit is whack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why dudes ain't looking for checking with chicks with tight, athletic, flat butts? Why do they want African Steatophagia, Caliphagia butts?
Okay, that's a good point then. So you're saying that on skin color we might be more interested in a European mindset, and but as far as body shape, we're into a more African mindset. Yeah. So that would be evidence that it is something internally generated and you can control it.
Yeah, it's not no white man saying you better. Nah, like I did the video the other day, Nick Cannon and Azalea Banks. Did you see that video I did?
Not yet.
Okay, so Nick Cannon says Vlad was interviewing Nick Cannon. He asked him, why are all the girls on your show wilding out?
Light skin.
Not only light skin, but it's a mix. Latina, ambiguous, white, and light skin.
Yeah.
So the light skinned girls are the darkest. But you have white girls, Latinas, and ambiguous, biracials. So you have nothing darker than a white skin girl.
Yeah.
And he said because of Constantine the Great. And he's like, dude, you have your own TV show, your own production company, you make movies.
But Constantine from 1103.
From 300 BC. I looked it up.
Yes, 300.
300 AD.
He came in and made you hire all light-skinned girls and Latins. They didn't know existed.
Not that you some rapper and they're saying, look, yeah, we picked the models for you and you got to do the video. Just shut up. This is your first video. You have a production company.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you got to...
Constantine.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. Well, I mean, one bad thing about it is if a person does have a skin preference, if you say anything about it, it's automatically brainwashed.
And here's the thing: there are some people that like dark-skinned women better, or there's some people who like light-skinned women better. The thing about it with black people is, a dude who like light-skinned girls is going to be boisterous and out front about it. Like a dude is saying, if this place could be crowded, and he's like, man, I want to be a yellow brown.
Yeah.
Not the same with dark skin. You gotta say it in the like now. I like dark skin.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see it. And I mean, I do think a big part of it is going to be us, because one of the guys I love so much is Daniel Brandon. And when he was a therapist, and when he gave therapy, he was like, okay, there's a lot of factors that's causing you to have whatever issue you're in here for. But you got to look at what factors are you in control of. So let's say you say, oh, I can't get a woman. Okay, well, how are you dressing? You're in control of that. You can buy better clothes. What kind of car you have?
No. There's several women who have tried that like you you didn't like them.
That's true too.
I don't hear that you can't get a woman.
Yeah.
You don't like the women that like you.
Uh-huh.
That's the problem that people have.
Yeah.
Like, no guy out here can't get no woman. He don't want the women that like him. He want another type of woman. Same thing with women.
Yeah.
Prettiest girls, they're single. They can't find nobody. You follow around a camera, 20 guys that approach them and they done turn them down. You don't, it ain't that you can't, like in America, this the land of milk and honey, man. Dudes, black folk play the role like, black folk act like they in a Rwandan village walking around with sandals, drinking out of the creek with their hands.
Yeah, scarcity mindset.
We act like we don't understand that we got it good. We love the victim. We love to be victimized. We love to be poor. We don't know how good we got it. Black folk in America got it great. Very good.
Yeah, the abundance mindset is really important.
You familiar with Kanika Jenkins thing, right?
No, I don't know Kanika Jenkins.
Okay, some young girl in Chicago was found in a freezer. She went to a party and she was found in the freezer. But anyway, it was both sides. One side thinks she was killed. One side thinks she was walked into the freezer. It's all different type of theories. Hundreds of Facebook groups dedicated to this girl's case. Hundreds of YouTube pages dedicated to this girl's case. All you got is a bunch of Negroes complaining why the media won't talk about it. You guys are talking about it. Social media. Social media can take any story and make it big. We have the ability on social media to take any story.
And I that's why I like it. Like, I'm so tired of people still complaining about the media this, the media that.
No.
We can make our own music. We can make a song right now if we want to.
Listen, I know I'm familiar with most of the big YouTubers. This is my third YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? I have channels upon channels upon channels out there. Like, this is not just my only channel. I got other channels. So I know all the major players in the black sector of YouTube. You got the conscious community, you got the, the hoteps and whatnot, then you got the, the radicals, then you got the pro-blacks.
Then the deep conservatives.
Yeah, then you got conservatives. You got all types of, like Brandon, what's the guy? Brandon something. It's some very good black conservatives out there. But I'm familiar with most of the guys on YouTube. Not everybody, but most of them. And when they all do a video, like Uncle Hotep, he's one guy that I'm familiar with too. He's Uncle Hotep, yes, my guy. He's a black conservative out of Pennsylvania. It's a lot of, but when everybody do stories, everybody does stories. A story happens, he does one. David Carroll does a story. Tommy Sotomayor does a story about it. Yada yada. Tariq and she does a story about it. This one does a story. O'Shea does a story about it. This one, Kid O'Gara does a story about it. Cynthia G does a story about it. China Fox does a story about it. Everybody's doing stories about this one topic. All those views, all that on the story is more than if the news was to talk about it.
Exactly. That's exactly right. I mean, we have a lot more power than we think we do. And we could, as far as education-wise, we could do a lot education-wise. I mean, just one guy learn something or read a book and summarize the book for everybody else. That saves everybody else, $20, $30. And, I learned actually a lot from YouTube book talks. So, like, if I like a book, before I buy it, I'll go Google the author and the talk, and I'll listen to 2 or 3 of his talks, and I'll learn a lot. Like Alex Vitale is like I've been studying for a little while. Amazing book talks. And yeah, I mean, we have a lot more power than what we have. And I think you're right about also the scarcity mindset as far as looking at what you don't have versus what you do have.
Right.
So you got to do that also. This is my thing is you can't discount what the government society can help you with. And I feel like they should be motivated to help us because we didn't end up here by ourselves. There was a lot of different factors. So that's all I really, only real pushback I have for you. But to close this out, tell us where we can find you, and are you like selling any merch or anything?
All right, man. You can check me out on YouTube, Akintunde Nation. Just Google Akintunde. My videos will come up. Um, you can check me out on Twitter, Alpha Kayode, at Alpha Kayode, ALPHAKAYODE. You can check me out on Facebook, Akintunde Kayode. It's 1,000 of them though, so I'm set /79. So, but yeah, basically my main form is YouTube. Akintunde Nation. Just come there, check me out. I just make videos out of, like about social. You're getting me. You're not getting like an agenda.
And DC too. Yeah. I like it because you concentrate a lot on DC. I like that.
Well, I don't really concentrate a lot on DC. I do stories nationally, but I have done some stories about DC because DC. I don't try to do every story about DC because DC, on a national level, it doesn't. It's DC is not like New York or LA. Like, first, the black community is so global with social media that you got to go where the story is. Like, for instance, who would have known the center of the world 3 years ago would have been Ferguson? You know what I mean? Who would have known the center of the world before that would have been Sanford, Florida? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You got to go wherever the story is. So since I cover a lot of major stories, I'm usually covering national, but sometimes I do talk about DC, and I am from DC, so you're getting the perspective of a Washingtonian.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's more so what you're getting from DC. You're getting a Washingtonian.
I appreciate it, man.
All right,
Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
Salute to you, man.
So I wanted to talk a little bit more about the scarcity mindset, and I think that's a big issue when people start talking about racial issues. So many conservatives will say that the mindset creates a lack of opportunities because a person isn't seeing the opportunity. Liberals will say the circumstances create the mindset. Well, I think a more realistic approach to the problem is that having a lack of opportunities fuels a scarcity mindset, and then the scarcity mindset blocks people from seeing the opportunities they do have in front of them. So the solution to all this would be to do deep introspection, shadow work, and an understanding of history so you can see things as they really are, which is the goal. Not to have an overly positive mindset, not to have an overly negative mindset, but understanding the way things are. And so I have a lot of information on my site about shadow work, a lot of understanding of history and how things ended up the way they are. So I think that's more of the goal when people start talking about scarcity mindset, and that's one thing I didn't bring up during the interview I feel like I should have brought up. So, in conclusion, thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, please join my WordPress site, blackleaderanalysis.com, or join the YouTube page, blackleadershipanalysis.com. And also, if you enjoyed it and found it helpful, please give through PayPal at sdnrace@gmail.com.